This segment brought to you in association with Burger King.
Sports time now to join Mark Seal in the sports studio. Good evening, Mark. Good news from Peru?
Yeah, some good news. Yeah, the star of the Barbados team today was Darian King in men's tennis. As true to form, he won his opening match of the 2019 Pan American Games in Peru. There to watch it at the Club Lawn Tennis was CBC's Anne-Marie Burke.
There was sweet success for Barbados on the tennis courts here in Lima, Peru, as Darian King, Barbados' #1 player, beat Samuel Rafis of the USA in straight sets at 6-4, 6-3. I will say much of the game was dominated by Darian, although in the second set it was a bit tighter, and at one point it was 2-all, then 3-all, before King pulled away for the victory. Here's what he had to say about the match.
Tough opponent. He's one of the guys that play on the Challenger Tour, where I am right now, and seeing him and in the draw next to my name was obviously nerve-wracking, but knowing how I was coming into the tournament with a lot of confidence, playing world team tennis and getting to the semi-finals in the last couple of challengers, I mean, my confidence is pretty high. It's just adapting to the clay, I think, that I really have to focus on. I think my tennis is feeling fine, my movement, and mentally I think I'm in a good place, so I think I'll be very tough here to beat.
It was a bit tougher for Hayden Lewis as he lost to Roberto Cid of Dominican Republic 2-6, 3-6, and he said much of it has to do with adapting to the conditions.
I'm happy with how I played. It's very difficult, the conditions out here for us. We're not really used to playing on the clay, but also with the weather and stuff, it's very cold and damp, so it plays very slow and heavy in long rallies, which is not in favor for me. I don't really enjoy that. But I had a good win yesterday and managed to pull through that one against Mexico, and then playing against Dominican Republic today. It wasn't an easy match, but happy with how I played. Yeah, I have my game plan, I stuck to it, and playing well.
Tomorrow, Hayden and Darian will team up in the doubles to face Peru's Sergio Galdes and Juan Pablo Varillas in the evening session on center court. It was otherwise tough going here in Lima for the rest of the Barbadian contingent today, as in shooting, Justin St. John, he ended with 25th position after scoring 103 points and did not advance out of the men's second day of qualification in the shooting men's trap event. Also not being able to advance would have been Daki Thorpe and Tamisha Williams in badminton in the mixed doubles, as they lost to Nelson Javier and Nairobi Jimenez of Dominican Republic at 21-16, 21-12. Williams was then back on court in the women's singles, and she faced Tamara Oraposa of Cuba, and she lost at 11-21, 10-21. Williams then joined forces with Sabrina Scott in the women's doubles event, but they too lost as they went down to Peru's Riga Latour and Ines Castillo at 12-21, 12-21. Currently on court in badminton is Daki Thorpe and Damon Howell. They're in the men's doubles against Mexico's Andres Lopez and Luis Montana. But the real heartbreak for the Barbados team here in Lima today came from surfer Chelsea Tuak, as she was unable to beat Peru's #1 Daniela Rosas in her heat, as Rosas posted heat scores of 8.5 and 6.77 for a total of 15.27 in comparison to Chelsea's 5.5 and 1.5 for a score of 7. However, Chelsea is now into the second round of the Women's Open Surf Repechage event set for 11:20 a.m. tomorrow. Reporting from Lima, Peru, I'm Anne-Marie Burke for CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Just an update. Actually, it is also the end of the road for the badminton players in Peru, as Thorpe and Howell did lose that encounter 21-14, 21-14. And Howell also teamed up with Tamisha Scott in the mixed doubles. They also lost. Moving on now to cricket, where Day 1 honours have been shared between defending champs Foundation and Amaze Queen's College. This in the BCA Under-15 three-day final at Darrells Road. Queen's College were bowled out in their first innings for 135 after they were sent into bat. CBC's Sean Green was there for the first session, and he filed this report.
Starting things off with 2 wickets already down. This is Ajani Small edging that one through slip down to third man. The fielder giving chase in vain. That's 4. 2 balls later, he swings this one down behind square to the long leg boundary for another 4. Zion Bradford edging and put down that slip. A bad miss by the fielder in that position. That Small punching and punching hard off the front foot through mid-off along the ground to collect another 4 across the luscious outfield. But immediately after the drinks, Small was trapped in front. The score, well, his score 37, the score 68 for 3. Zion Brathwaite was dismissed shortly after, caught by Alexander off the bowling of Seeley for 17 of 66 balls. Micaiah Bartlett didn't last too long. LBW to Seeley, giving him his fifer in the game. Brathwaite gone for a duck. Jonathan Squires replaced him, slapping this one through the covers across the green carpet to move his account to 4. But again, Squires wasn't so fortunate here, driving and is out caught behind for 6. Queen's College in further trouble as they went to lunch at 92 for 6. Sean Green, CBC Sports.
Well, thanks, Sean. Johnny Small did top score for QC with 37, while next was Gabriel Mahajiri with 26. Nathan Seeley ended up with 5 for 43, while Isaiah Folks had 3 for 39. Foundation in reply in their first innings at close of play, they were 65 for 3. That's a deficit of 70 runs. Joshua Dorn is on 23 and Camario Grant on 10. Rashawn Hackett so far has 2 for 11. Well, we're going to go with some cricket where Barbados defeated Guyana by 3 wickets in round 2 of the CWI Under-19 One-Day Championship at Arnottsville in St. Vincent today. Guyana were bowled out for 124 of 30.1 overs. Matthew Ford grabbed 5 for 24. Barbados replied with 125 for 7 of 29.3. Rivaldo Clark led the Bajans with an even half-century. In just about 2 weeks' time, members and member clubs of the Barbados Cricket Association will be voting for positions of president, secretary, and board directors. The main race, obviously, will be that of presidency between the incumbent, Conde Riley, and former president, Joel Garner. There is also an interesting race for secretary between incumbent Gregory Nichols, Amanda Refer, and Anthea Ishmael. Those 3 were guests this morning on CBC's radio talk show, Let's Talk About It, on Q100.7 FM with host Sean Green.
Current Secretary, Attorney at Law Gregory Nichols, says his focus will be one of generating revenue, completing facilities, and development.
We've done some good work in being able to implement some new gaming, sports and gaming revenue opportunities for the BCA. Sports betting will be coming on, virtual sports owned by the BCA, and this will pump a lot of revenue into the BCA to develop the programs. And out of that, I want to see the completion of the indoor facility at Kensington Oval, the completion of the ground at Wildy. Okay, I want to see more emphasis in terms of putting resources in the clubs so that women's teams among our current clubs can play, and we can incentivize the clubs to have women's teams and put more financial resources in the women's. More emphasis in relation to how we get our cricketers from a very young level to be attuned to the requirements of being an international athlete.
Mrs. Amanda Refer, who's also running for the post of board member as well as secretary, says she has the skills for the post.
Use my skill set as it relates as a strategic thinker, as an implementer, as with a track record for innovation in terms of the structures and systems and developmental programs and so forth that are required to take what we currently have and the good work that has been done to this point, but to move it to the next level. I also have in my repertoire a cadre of professionals across the globe, from high-performance centers and with a lot of expertise, for example, in biomechanics and different areas that we can integrate into a development program, a cricket development program for the upliftment and the development of the youth and at all levels of our cricket.
Anthea Ishmael also spelled out her views, especially regarding gender equality.
I also believe in gender balance. And as you are aware, there are 9 members on the board. There's only 1 female. Nowadays, we are talking about gender equality, the United Nations Sustainable Goals, and one of them does address gender balance and gender equality. So I would like to see more women on the board. And of course, if I'm elected, I would be one such person. That would make 2 people, at least, but we have to work towards getting more of them. Also, Sean, we need to look seriously at the development of the cricket, especially at the youth level.
And here's wishing them well in the upcoming elections. Sean Green, CBC Sports.